He mauled the world's deadliest strikers in cold blood.
Followed by a right by Fedor, now throwing combinations. Big Daddy with a couple blocks.
Revolutionized ground and pound.
Want to see blood and violence. Big shots!
And wiped out a squad of UFC champions. During an unprecedented decade of dominance, Fedor Emelianenko conquered Pride FC's Royal Division and went down in history as the greatest heavyweight in MMA.
But Fedor just cracked him.
Let's recall the brightest moments from the last Emperor's red-hot sledgehammer spectacle. Fedor launched a pro career in 2000 and immediately proved the effectiveness of his combat sambo style in mixed martial arts. By the summer of 2002, Emelianenko's record consisted of 7 finishes in 10 triumphs. Thus, he was finally summoned to Pride FC. The adversary was Semi Schilt, who would win 4 K1 Grand Prix in the near future, and become the best heavyweight in kickboxing history.
He did it against Zimmerman, he did it against Correa, but it's 2 knockdowns.
Nevertheless, Fedor quickly threw Schilt to the canvas.
And he got the takedown.
And started applying blush on his face.
Roll the other way. Oh, good right hand. That was those.
The second round followed the same script.
See the timing on that?
He's got way too much balance. These are good strikes.
By getting a lopsided decision victory, Emelianenko entered the title race. Heavy Artillery joined the front line next, in the face of Heath Herring, who had recently fought tooth and nail against Rodrigo Nogueira for the inaugural belt. The Texas Crazy Horse was ranked second in the division and considered a menace in all areas. However, he was instantly blown off his feet. The eruption of violence that ensued forever changed the ground-striking meta in MMA.
But Fedor just cracked him 2 times. Is Herring hurt here? It looked like he hurt him with that left hook, boss. I think
Heath could neither escape
jumping in and suplexing,
nor hide from the relentless beatdown on the floor.
Oh!
Yes.
All the way. Oh, he's going for an armbar.
The fans were waiting to start collecting the American's teeth as souvenirs.
Why should he? Uh-oh.
And he's got the choke.
He's got it. Oh, no!
Luckily, the doctors intervened and saved what was left of Herring's health. Fedor put on a ground and pound masterclass and was awarded with a well-deserved title shot.
But Fedor just cracked him. Oh.
In March of 2003, the Russian went head-to-head with Rodrigo Nogueira. Up to that point, the Brazilian jiu-jitsu ace had held the belt for 2 years, snatching 6 submissions in 7 victories.
Going to bring the elbow to the other side.
Oh, go for the high kick. Coleman's going to pull his way out. He's going to be out. Coleman tapping out. Oh, straight armbar.
Nothing could stop Minotauro, not even pile drivers by the fantastic beast Bob Sapp, who became another victim of a crazy comeback. Unbelievable. And although the Brazilian's guard was scarier than a snake pit, Fedor turned out to be quite the mongoose. He took Nogueira to the canvas on his own terms and began brutally ramming him into the ring surface.
It was a strike. Oh, big punches. He's got him.
Emelianenko got out of multiple dangerous situations.
Better get up right now.
Got out.
And dished out loads of damage.
Oh, my. The people who want to see blood and violence. Oh, that's it. Oh, big shots. Big shots. Fedor's all over Nogueira. All over him.
To be fair, Minotauro was not the one to falter when things got rough.
He is a threat. He's a big time judge. Nogueira's in big trouble here. Big trouble.
Big Nog attempted numerous submissions,
As good as it is. Oh no! Oh! As good as.
and secured a sweep.
Oh no! No!
Howbeit, Fedor reversed the fortunes.
Look at this! Whoa! Unbelievable!
And continued stress testing Nogueira's skull until the final bell.
Science of the submission ability. Oh, look at this. Oh. Unbelievable. Has taken the title.
Ruthless superiority resulted in a landslide decision victory, making the 26-year-old Emelianenko an undisputed champion.
Has defied the odds.
They met again in the finale of the 2004 Heavyweight Grand Prix. Along the way, Rodrigo choked out Herring
It's over.
and handed Crow Cop his first loss.
There's the boss block. Look out, Arnold. It's over. I'm done.
Nogueira stuck to the same submission hunting strategy,
Nice roll there. Oh, look at his balance. Emelianenko's balance is unreal.
Emelianenko able to escape.
Like I said, he escapes the 10 before they even put it on.
Nogueira
the duel was a repeat of the first encounter for 4 minutes straight.
right there delivered by Emelianenko, but now he's cut in a triangle position.
When they met, I'm sorry, cutting through my English.
Yet an unintentional headbutt resulted in a doctor stoppage.
Size and futility.
Yep.
Right hand by. Nogueira ended up kick.
Oh.
And he's
cut. Fedor.
The bout was declared a no contest, and a rematch was scheduled for New Year's Eve. This time, Emelianenko found the silver bullet to neutralize the opponent's strength. He stayed away from the Brazilian's guard,
by what we saw. Between before.
dominated the striking realm,
That nervous. Oh!
swept him off his feet with ease.
Interesting how he's moving in this fight, you guys.
Nice takedown by.
Look at this. He just
Oh,
making adjustments, Randy Couture.
Nogueira had no answers, and the epoch-making trilogy of the 2000s went to the Russian machine.
unanimous decision for Fedor.
Returning to Pride shortly after capturing the strap, Fedor shared the ring with Kazuyuki Fujita. The Japanese wrestler nicknamed Ironhead really only lost to Crow Cop. Took the precious zero from the unbeaten Mark Kerr
Fighting his heart. Yes, he is.
and never shied away from a wild slugfest.
Unbelievable.
Oh, what a turn.
Activity. The heart is on display.
I cannot believe that.
Fedor was a massive favorite and started playing with his food from the jump.
Oh, there's that right hand lead right there. And Fujita's on his back. Oh, eats a big left hand.
To give credit, Fujita could also be the hammer and not just the nail.
Oh my God! Fedor's in here, pushed by Fujita.
Getting his wits about him and springing back up.
And Fujita.
Emelianenko reevaluated the initial approach.
That looks like about. He's got it. It's over. He's got it. It's over. It's over. It's an incredible fight.
By unleashing the bomb in close, Kazuyuki almost pulled off the upset of the century. Fedor retaliated with a flurry and tightened the noose around the neck.
And this is where animal instinct and technique meet.
As a stay busy, he fought Gary Goodridge, an old school killing machine made of flesh.
Texas, the same gym where.
Again. Woo! Woo! Oh, he's out. He's out.
They are staying on their.
Mano a mano versus Emelianenko, Big Daddy's only responsibility was picking out the blow to crumble under.
But then a right hand lands. A right cross lands.
body shots.
Uppercuts to the.
The massacre lasted 69 seconds of doom.
And there's an example of it. Right hand, to the head, to the head. He is out. It looks like he's down. There it is.
The reigning emperor kicked off 2004 with a scuffle against Mark Coleman. The first ever UFC heavyweight champion and the inaugural Pride Grand Prix winner, the American wrestling dynamo wasted less time striking than pig spent flying.
He's not going to be able to take too many. Oh, he's knocked out. Is he knocked out? I think he's out.
Even Fedor failed to thwart the initial takedown assault.
Coleman on top of Emelianenko in the corner.
The godfather of ground and pound unleashed the hammers.
You've always suggested, boss, from the under the arm
But Emelianenko answered with a guillotine
by Emelianenko.
and went on the counteroffensive.
His head out is Coleman, but now he's met with a couple of left and right, and there's a knee, but Coleman.
The second grappling entanglement was the last for Mark.
Emelianenko's brother and Vladimir Gorbachev. He's got here's the armbar. And Coleman at the tap. And Fedor.
Short time ago before he...
In their sequel 2 years later, things went south for Coleman from the word go.
He dropped him. He hit him hard on that one.
Coleman now beginning to unload from the hammer. Mark Coleman hammering. The Pride legend.
The Russian closed the show with an armbar out of respect for the legend. Mark's daughters were in the arena, so Fedor gave the veteran a hand and got one in return. In August of 2005, chomping at the bit was Mirko Filipovic, who had recently shut off Fedor's brother, Alexander.
Yeah, but there it is! The cat's over! Just like that!
The Croat Cemetery left kick has been thundering in K1 since the 90s. Upon transitioning to MMA, Krokop became the most intimidating knockout artist on the planet.
In total control right now. Never it hurt him. Left.
Some blood. Oh, I kick it down.
Comes to that strong left leg. There he is.
Filipovic was expected to clash against Fedor the previous year. However, Kevin Randleman had something to say about that.
The shot back up to his feet. Excellent, it's back! It's over. Unbelievable.
Emelianenko himself had a comfy ride with Monster Airlines. Coming out victorious in the end, nonetheless.
Oh, here we go.
There it is. To the forward. And it's over. As he respects Krokop, and there you see
The high-stakes confrontation began with a hard check and masterful combination work from the Emperor.
by a great left hand by Emelianenko. And now he has him on the rope.
He is a master in game.
Oh, nice hit here.
Halfway through the opening frame, Fedor made a mistake.
So close. Nice left. Yes. Oh, left.
Wow,
I think
that
it's
left. Right.
And miraculously survived the subsequent kick.
Right by Emelianenko. High left kick by Krokop and falls.
He took Mirko to the mat and stayed on top till the break.
His balance boss, but Emelianenko exploiting the mixed martial arts at its best.
In the second, the Croatian sensation was an open book.
Oh, look at that. Look at this is right to Mirko Krokop.
You know, the corner from Fedor.
Krokop kept eating strikes.
Oh, nice right straight. And again, a body shot.
Nice. Left.
And sporadically exploding in response.
Trading. Look at this.
Be that as it may, the last Emperor couldn't finish peak Mirko.
Looking for the takedown and back to the ground.
The battle of the decade, witnessed live by 35,000 people, became an instant martial arts classic. On December 31st, 2005, the generously built Brazilian Zuluzinho was waiting for Emelianenko under the tree. The gift wrapping was ripped off his chin in half a minute.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, we're not taking it away from Fedor. Oh my gosh, that's it! Oh no! Oh no! Square right on the chin.
Fedor Emelianenko, an absolute machine. A barrage.
That's it, that's it.
Fedor Emelianenko sends a very...
The fight lasted mere seconds, but the highlight is still breaking records.
We're not taking it away from Fedor. Oh my God!
Exactly 1 year later, Mark Hunt was tasked with putting out the sparklers in Fedor's eyes. After an easy takedown,
Fedor can handle on both arms, trying to bring it down. He does.
the Russian attempted an armbar to no avail.
Oh, he missed the head.
Mark grabbed an unexpected Americana.
No, this can't happen. Oh my gosh.
That's when the Super Samoan's ambitions crashed into the limits of reality.
That's
Now he's
it,
getting
that's it,
close.
step it out,
It's
step it out,
over.
that's it, it's all,
Fedor
it's all
hangs
over.
on to the heavyweight title.
With the collapse of the Japanese organization in 2007, the last Pride Emperor did not abandon the New Year's tradition of beating big boys. The infinitely tall Korean, Hangman Choi, sacrificed his arm for the culture.
He's got it,
Fedor going for the armbar. Fedor going for the armbar. Again, Fedor going for
that's it, he got it, he got it, he's got it.
Fedor does it.
In 2008, Emelianenko signed with an American promotion, Affliction. In his debut, Fedor tanked the career of Tim Sylvia, who fought for the UFC belt 5 months previous.
Oh, nice. Shock left there by
Tim was Donzo in 36 seconds.
Tim Sylvia, but he's got that. He tapped out.
The newly minted title went to Stary Oskol, and in January of 2009, the former UFC king, Andrei Arlovsky, was brought in to challenge for it. The Belarusian had recently left the UFC in pursuit of a big fat check, and was on a run of 5 straight victories with 4 knockouts.
Side leg kick. Right hand. Oh, goodness. Big right hand.
The prologue was tense for both athletes.
And it's a good strategy. He's trying to take the good best combination that I've seen from take away that lead leg. Not using a lot of footwork though. Emelianenko missing.
And as soon as Andre felt like he had found the groove,
Push kick by Arlovsky.
lying stiff on the floor and staring into the void, poor Arlovsky had no idea what his chin would go through in the years to come. Unable to come to terms with the UFC, Fedor moved to Strikeforce on a 27-fight unbeaten streak. In November, he was welcomed by a tire fitter / MMA practitioner, Brett Rogers. The American's unblemished record consisted of 10 knockout wins, including a big upset over Arlovsky.
I think it's
In his first performance in the cage, Emelianenko immediately went ham.
It connects. He throws Rogers down, or tries to. Single right in the nose area. Cut it. Look at those things.
There it is again. Fedor.
But having damaged Fedor's nose,
Wild left hand by Fedor. That jab of Rogers.
Rogers finished the opening lap on a high note.
Open arm. Move his hips. Fedor getting pounded. He's getting hurt here. Fedor tries.
In the second, Brett incorporated cage wrestling, something alien for the Russian.
He's blocking him. Rogers attacking now.
Moving to the center, however, was a huge mistake.
Kid from the Cabrini Green. Emelianenko hit him with a right hand and it's over.
Rogers wanted to play Russian roulette by striking with Fedor, and he got the bullet.
Kid from the Cabrini Green.
Meanwhile, for the first time ever, the aging champion didn't look like the last emperor of Pride, which would become apparent against Fabricio Verdum.
Drops him. Fedor jumps.
Rushing for a finish, Emelianenko dove into a deadly triangle.
Verdum tries. Oh! He's tapping. He's tapping.
From that moment on, Fedor would lose his mojo for a while and fall short in 2 subsequent appearances.
Beautiful skate by Hendo. Wow!
Ничего, кто не падает, тот не встает.
With retirement on the horizon, Emelianenko made a comeback on home soil versus a special guest, Jeff Monson. In October of 2011, the American dubbed Snowman was being melted for 15 minutes. month later, the once promising Satoshi Ishii was blown out of the water.
Trying to measure up with his right, and again Fedor drops it! The big promotion!
Finally, in June 2012, an old-school vet, Pedro Rizzo, joined the club. Following a brief feeling-out process, the Brazilian received a special quota for a head scan.
Kick. And big right. And Rizzo is down! That is
The grand send-off concluded with a blitzing overhand, and 35-year-old Emelianenko left the ring on a high note. Despite being set for life, 3.5 years later, in 2015, Fedor surprisingly returned with a demolition of a little-known opponent.
Фёдор. Похоже, что все в нокауте уже, JD.
Then he signed with Bellator, and in a span of 5 years, crushed Chael Sonnen.
Tonight's fight. Big shot. He's hurt. And it's all over.
Former UFC champion Frank Mir.
And Emelianenko clips there. Emelianenko to grab the belt on Mir. Fedor Emelianenko.
And a seemingly pregnant Rampage. Nevertheless, Emelianenko also found himself on the receiving end of a KO a couple of times.
Big shot. For sure.
Oh, they both double knockdown. Fedor Emelianenko turned and just like Dan Henderson did, it's over. It's over.
In October of 2021, the golden ticket went to Timothy Johnson, who had previously produced a Knockout of the Year candidate.
Another right hand. Oh, but Johnson just clocked fortune.
And folded Matt Mitrione up against the fence. Headlining the first Bellator event in Russia, Fedor entered exchanges.
Good combination. Tim Johnson just walked right into it. Swinging for the fence.
Connected with a counter left,
Shots in like that.
and then launched a lethal burst.
Left hand with Fedor. Two monster shots by Fedor. And the GOAT comes home and reigns.
Landing a three-punch combo with blistering speed, the 45-year-old Emelianenko made the old-school fans shed a tear of nostalgia.
Left hand with Fedor.
Fedor has always been taciturn and used two hefty fists to do the talking.
But Fedor just cracked him 2 times. We want to see blood and violence. Oh, that's it! Oh, big shot!
He has never fought in the UFC, but during his career beat a squad of the Ultimate Promotion champions. Emelianenko's final bout will be for the Bellator title. Regardless of the outcome, the last emperor is set in stone in the history of martial arts.
How he's moving in this fight.
Oh, nice takedown.
Oh, look at that. Look at this.
Just going to check each other out quickly, but there's a couple of left hooks followed by
Heavyweight belt, Big John. Oh, nice. Sharp left there by
Project Kid from the Cabrini Green.
If you enjoyed the video, ground and pound that like button, subscribe to the channel, and vote for sport.
Left hand with Fedor.